Pokemon Legends ZA is the latest title in this massive franchise, and it is developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo. With Pokemon being hit or miss in the days of social media, but a complete success with its sales numbers, Nintendo and Game Freak decide that now is the time to push the Legends spin-off series even further by taking us back to Lumiose City. But was this the proper setting to bring us back to after so many years after our trip in X and Y? Or should it have been set further back like Legend Arceus was? Only one way to find out, so let's catch 'em all! Gameplay. Another Pokemon game comes out, and the older I feel, because much like we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Mario at this current time, we're also right at the cusp of the 30th anniversary of the Pokemon itself as well come 2026. In fact, just 4 short months away. Pokemon over the last 30 years has seen many iterations of the franchise, from its red, blue, and yellow Game Boy days, snapping all the photographs you can in Pokemon Snap in both older and modern versions, straight-up fighting games like Pokken, turn-based titles like Mystery Dungeon, making me actually leave the house for once during the initial craze and hype of Pokemon Go, and leading me to venture around the city at all hours of the night trying to find rare and exotic Pokemon, but finding nothing but Zubats and Rattatas, who now I hate because of it. This also doesn't include all the other ventures Pokemon dipped its toes into, with each mainline game switching it up with its formula, for better or for worse, and even spin-offs like Pokemon Legends Arceus bringing a much-needed fresh take on the traditional formula. The fact is, Pokemon I feel is even more of a juggernaut nowadays than it was when I was growing up. That opinion is subjective, of course, but still, it's the way things feel, regardless of the echo chambers of social media doing a boycott every week, it seems. Yeah, how'd that work out recently, guys? Can't be a boycott if a game sells 20 million plus. Believe me, go and ask Hogwarts Legacy. That boycott led to 34 million in sales. Social media aside and iterations of the games aside, the franchise itself is one of the most profitable companies in the world. Who's going to pass up wanting to buy a Chikorita plush? Not me. But while everyone is off enjoying their merch, playing the newest games, and loving or hating them, I'm over here still crying my eyes out at the ending to Pokemon the first movie when Ash gets straight up blasted to the point that his body hardens into a cold husk of his former self, only for the tears of Pikachu to bring him back to life. Yep, that's me, in my 30s and still crying at that scene. Don't judge me, or else I'm going to have to throw on the Brother My Brother soundtrack and I'm going to have to slap you till you cry. Okay, sorry. Aggression aside, my long history of Pokemon has definitely been filled with a lot of memories, mostly good overall. And now we arrive at the newest title, Pokemon Legends ZA, an alphabet game that helps us as Pokemon trainers learn our ABCs in this brand new educational game.
A, B, C, D, E.
Wait, that can't be right. Give me a second, guys. Here in Pokemon Legends ZA, it's time to start on a brand new adventure set 5 years after the events of Pokemon X and Y, and now has you make your grand return to the city of Lumiose, where your adventure stays confined to. Now, before you get mad and angry about that, settle down and take a deep breath. That premise is not as bad as it sounds. ZA, much like Arceus, changes up the formula even more and steps back from the traditional turn-based style of gameplay that requires you to attack then wait your turn, and now takes it to a more action-based combat system that reminds me more of an MMO style of gameplay or a more modern setup due to you having free movement of combat for not only yourself, but your fellow Pokemon as well. During combat, now that you're able to run around at your own free will, using B to jump and dodge out of the way from Pokemon attack, and then using your face buttons to initiate an ability your Pokemon has at their disposal, all running off of a cooldown system that has you wait until the move is ready to be used again. This way of combat keeps everything flowing at a fast pace, letting you use moves back to back instantly, and makes you feel like you're actually getting into the heat of battle alongside your Pokemon, which honestly makes it as close to the anime experience as we've ever gotten, which is awesome. Thankfully, there's no Gary Oak flaunting his badges to us the entire time either, with his smug, slappable face or Tracy constantly going, "I'm gonna make some sketches!" I'm also not like Ash. I'm not giving away or letting go of 5,000 Pokemon. Screw that! If I want 200 fletchlings, then dang it, I'm going to have 200 fletchlings and you can't stop me! Okay, sorry about that. Almost sounded like my own version of Team Rocket there. Unfolds over your 20 to even 30-hour journey, you proceed to the city riding the Hogwarts Express alongside Ron and Harry Potter, and upon arrival, you see how vast and large the explorable city is. While confined to one major city is a bit of a bummer considering how in pretty much every Pokemon game you can proceed through multiple areas like grass areas, meadows, urban, and even open world free roam, such as Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, But in this version of Lumiose, while not as open, sure, you're still able to explore down various alleyways, climb on top of buildings to explore rooftops, to find wild Pokemon hanging about like this freaking Abra I couldn't catch, because the dang jerk wouldn't stay still. I actually enjoyed climbing and going rooftop to rooftop quite a lot, because not only do you get a good view of the city and your surroundings, but you're also able to see any Pokemon down on the ground below that you might not have spotted before from a ground view level, and even spot new ladders or pathways to take to buildings that you didn't even know you could get onto in the first place. It makes the city feel less redundant and confined, at least for me. Further, as you explore the city, you're able to enter greenlit areas known as wild zones. When entering a wild zone, you're free to catch any Pokemon you see in that area or battle them, whichever you choose to do by partaking in your action-based combat. But the change to the formula again comes into play. For instance, in traditional and every normal Pokemon game on the market, something we've been taught since day one is in order to capture a Pokemon, you must battle it, weaken it, and then toss a Pokeball and hope for the best. Simple, right? Well, the heck with that. Here in ZA, you're allowed to just absolutely obliterate your foe and beat the crap out of them without having to stop to assess your damage. Because now, even when directly knocking out your opponent, sending them to 0 health, they now momentarily get dizzy with the marker indicator over their head, which gives you roughly 3 seconds to press ZL to lock onto the Pokemon and ZR to toss the Pokeball to catch it. Aw, cute little fletchling. So adorable. Tepig, burn him to the ground! Being a lunatic trainer aside, your goals as you push through the story is to take part in a ZA Royale contest that has you make your way up from Z rank all the way to A rank by battling trainers to level up your ranks for battle points and investigate the resurgence of Mega Evolutions. This involves you exploring the city at dusk, or rather just in general at nighttime, as trainers from all over the city roam the streets looking for a fight, and of course others to duel, in the hopes that they beat you and rank up. And as stated previously, when defeating a specific amount of trainers and their cute friends, you will gain points needed to upgrade said level to a new rank. The higher your rank means the tougher the competition as well, with early battles feeling like maybe you're a little too overpowered, but as you rank up and gain new Pokemon to use to strategize with, you'll soon find out that your swift, quick, and easy knockouts become far and few between, and instead, you'll find yourself jumping and dodging out of the way, moving around your environment to get a proper position, and figuring out what is the best time to use an ability to slow down your foe or lower their defense before making a decision on what offensive move you should take at the most opportune time. It's intense, and it gets the heart pumping, making you feel like you're Ash at the opening of Pokemon the first movie, only without Dragonite flying at 100 miles per hour and wrecking your whole picnic. The more battles you face, the closer you will get to acquiring Mega Evolution Gems, which are key to some of the best parts of the game, which are Mega Evolution encounters. These skirmishes are basically the game's boss fights, but more so leaning toward what people would traditionally call a raid, and each one tests the limits of not only your skill, but item management, strategic timing, and knowledge of elemental types for strengths and weaknesses. And should you not be up to date, or are someone who is quick to get frustrated during big pivotal moments, then you're in for the roughest time of your life. Why is this? Well, for starters, the raid megaboss says screw the rules and pulls a South Park Cartman of I do what I want and will actually attack you as well. Hence why I mentioned the dodging mechanic beforehand, which in turn demands 100% of your attention at all times to make sure that you properly evade, restore health when needed, and switch in and out of Pokemon on your team as the situation calls for it. The amount of intensity that these battles bring and give you far surpass anything you've experienced in any past Pokemon game, and makes Scarlet and Violet's Terra Raid dens feel more like a sheer novelty or a test run for what they truly wanted to do in the first place. Which is funny because that's exactly what ZA feels like in comparison for Arceus. Much like how Breath of the Wild felt like testing grounds for what the devs actually truly wanted to achieve in Tears of the Kingdom, ZA feels like the same with Arceus being the testing grounds and ZA being the full utilization of the idea itself. Sadly, no Yaya or WoW to be had from our boy Beetle. We'll survive. Maybe.
Yay! Wow!
Graphically, the game looks decent. Not amazing, but I like the art style, and the game definitely looks better on its Switch 2 counterpart over Switch 1 due to better lighting, draw distance, and performance. But I feel like what makes up for it graphically is the amount of what is actually going on in the environment, with Pokemon freely roaming around the city, with Pokemon hiding in trash cans like they're Oscar the Grouch or something, Pidgey hanging out on lampposts or flying around on top of buildings enjoying the day breeze, etc. It truly makes it feel like we're all living in a Pokemon world, just as Ash and crew were in the anime. And it's the first time that I've actually felt that sensation for a Pokemon game in general. But with all the greatness this game has to show for it in both its story that aims at appealing to longtime fans, more mature mature fans, and even fans of X and Y, and its willingness to expand combat to a faster-paced action-centric system, it still does have a wee bit of a problem here and there. Since this game was obviously made first with Switch 1 in mind and then with Switch 2 being the afterthought, you will see some performance issues even in the Switch 2 version with textures and pop-ins due to Switch 2's version being similar to the Switch 2 upgrade packs that you see in titles like Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, etc. Which is a bummer really, because I really want to see what a Pokemon game can truly do utilizing the power of Switch 2, but sadly, it looks like we'll have to wait for Generation 10 for that. City exploration also has its fair share of issues, because yes, it's fun to explore and find new Pokemon or new rooftops to traverse, but at the same time, there's so many buildings that yield very little to no interactivity at all, which kills some of the immersion for me as a player who likes going into houses, seeing what residents are up to, stealing stuff from their house like TMs or something, you know, random stuff like that. That's lost in this iteration, and that means it gives me less of a chance to be a total jerk and rob people and laugh at them like Haunter. Why would you take that from me, Debs? Why? Oh well, I guess I can cheer myself up in a different way. Boom! Burn, fledgling! Overall, at the end of the day, Pokemon ZA ends up for me personally as one of my favorite games in the series, at least since the early Kanto days. Obviously, it has its downfalls, like flat textures here and there, pop-in issues, being confined to one city can be a drag for some people, and less interactions with overall buildings themselves. However, I feel ZA exceeds at everything else beyond that. At its core, ZA triumphs more when it goes against the usual conventions of what we've grown accustomed to with the franchise, by revamping its combat to be faster, fluid, and intense, ZA Royale being a fun time, storyline that mixes in both humor and charm the series is known for, alongside some darker tones, freely using Pokemon abilities outside of battle at any point to get through obstacles in your way, like smashing boulders, completing research, and obtaining new rewards and abilities for your Pokemon, Mega Evolution boss battles that push the series past its limits with fundamentals, allowing for greater strategic gameplay and diversity, multiple ways to explore the city using its rooftops, etc. Sure, the new format might tick off series purists a bit, but honestly, you can't have innovation or explorative ideas without kicking the hornet's nest a little bit, even if it does anger the purists who only want a classic style of gameplay and battling. So if you're a fan of more experimentation and pushing the limits of what Pokemon is or could be, similar to the way Arceus was, then as a Pokemon fan, you owe it to yourself to give this one a go. Even if past entries like Sword, Shield, Scarlet, or Violet underwhelm you, ZA is a much different beast, or monster, or pocket monster? So with all that having been said, my verdict is clear. Game & Chick says bye now.